deflect his strikes anymore. But I will not let you win!
Old Country Bumpkin episode 6. This was a good episode of Old Country Bumpkin. Don't get me wrong. I thought this was a legit good episode, but I still feel like they are doing a disservice to our main character. There are two things that bug me to no end about this show specifically. And based on what some are telling me about the source material, about like the manga, it might not necessarily be that the source material does this as well. It may just be that the adaptation does this. Now, one of them I think does happen in the manga, but one is the lack of intensity, the lack of art, the lack of fighting style that they show Beryl to have. Here, he ends up fighting a geeked out like super soldier, basically, who is geeked up on a ton of different, I don't know if they're curses, but like powers. And, you know, they're amplified to no degree, and they just keep pushing and pushing and pushing to where eventually their body falls apart. And Beryl is able to turn it up. He's able to, you know, shift it to 11. He's able to, you know, turn it up to 110%. He's able to go Super Saiyan on this guy. And they don't quite do that scene justice. Now, they show him, like, you know, like having like a burst of speed and like, you know, and then what, you know what I mean? And it was okay, but I feel like there was more gravitas there. You know, I feel like there was more like, I don't know. I just feel like they're not doing him the justice that he deserves. You know, when they keep having the outside characters kind of like, oh my God, look at him. He's Jason Bourne. And you're like, I mean, he parkour, like, you know, I mean, he jumped over like a 2 feet little, like, you know what I mean? He didn't do all that. You know what I mean? Like what the characters tend to react to, and then what we're actually physically seeing, they just don't seem to match up, and it just feels weird to me. Like I said, based on what some have said in the comments, you know, keep sharing, guys, if you're familiar with source. It sounds like the manga, you know, where this derives from, the light novel, the manga, either describe it a lot better or show it a lot better. But, you know, seeing it on screen, it's just so, I don't even know what the right word is. It's underwhelming, I guess you could say. And it just sucks. The second thing that I am starting to not like about this show is Beryl. He keeps talking to himself in like a third person of like this old man, you know. And at this point, Beryl's like either gonna be 40 or 40, right? Sure. 40, you're like, you're halfway through life, whatever. Like you're midway, you're middle age, okay? But why is that his whole personality? I just had my birthday this past weekend. Your boy 36. I'm old, okay? But that's not my, like, and when I say I'm old, I'm not old. I'm still young. In 15 years, I'm 50. Okay, yeah, you know what? I'm old. You know, your boy, like, you know, 10, 15 away from retirement. Okay, like that's old. That's, and when you say old, like, you know, 50 plus, like, okay, you've passed like your golden years, you know? But boy's 40, you know? I mean, he's like a few years older than me. That's not my whole personality. Of course, like, I'm married, but if I was going out and I'm interacting, you know, if I'm, let's say I'm at the gym, okay? I'm a single man all of a sudden, and I'm at the gym, and some girl comes up to me and is like, oh, wow, you know, you're getting a daddy or something stupid like that. I'm not gonna be like, oh my, you're talking to this old man? And like, who the F does that? And he keeps doing that. Like, oh, this old man. Oh, that old man. Oh, you're talking to this old guy? And it's just like, what is wrong with you mentally, bro? Like, do you just like, do you need to be a eunuch? Like, you just need to get sliced off because it doesn't work? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. You know, there is a age disparity. And I get that he has had a lot of mentorship and he has been the mentor to a lot of girls when they were younger, right? But at the same respect, he only has like between a 5 to 8 year gap between Serena, and he treats her like if she's 12. And then you have the other girls who they're in their 20s, like they're well in their adulthood, you know, and he treats them as such. And then you're like, okay, well, it's because he had the mentor, teacher, whatever. Okay. Well, then he has Lucy, who has shown, that she's older than him even, but he has taken, he instantly keeps taking that same mentality towards every female that he meets. Like, she could be a year younger than him, and he's like, oh, look at this young Spriggan. It's just like, it's why do they incessantly write him like that? It just gets so old. And like, I don't understand, like, why do they need to make this, like, why did the writer need to make him in a way to where he has it as his whole personality? And maybe he's written like that on purpose. He obviously is. The author intended to write him like this is his whole personality. But it's just crazy to me. It's like, you're not that old, but he depicts himself like he's, like I said this before, he depicts himself like he's his dad's age, 65 or something. And it's like, bro, that's not the case. Like, you're in your best years in life. And he's just like, oh, you're talking to this old. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. The rest of the episode, though, you know what I mean? It goes on, and it has him take on the church and the bishop. And he has a really cool scene with Miui's sister. He's finally able to put her to rest. You know, he has to make a decision to, chop or lop off her head, as well as the others. That recovery, restoration, revival magic ended up being very underwhelming as well. Like, they just turned him into, like, they're not even attacking zombies. They're just like, like, they don't bite. They don't do anything. Like, they get resuscitated in this zombie form, and then they do nothing. So I don't know if they were meant to be like traditional zombies, to where like they just attack, or I don't know what the purpose of reviving them was outside of just making their body move a bit. But that whole scene, I felt like, was underwhelming as well too. Then you had the fight scene. I like how Fischel and Karuni, I like how they both came in to save the day when he was fighting the bishop's subordinates. I thought that was a cool fight. And then the bishop just faltered. He was like, you're never going to take down the church. I'm coming back after you, Batman. And that was pretty much all that happened with the bishop. So, yeah, I guess we're going to see what ends up happening next episode. And then as far as where it ended on, where did it end on this week? I think next week is called... actually, we didn't even get what next week is called exactly. But he's basically going to start living with Miui now, because Miui is going to be like his adoptive daughter, And I guess it's going to further feed into his old man complex, because now he's going to be like a father figure or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. After watching an anime, which was like the 40-year-old something, 40-year-old, what was it called? We just got, it was another one where there were 40. Yeah, the 40-year-old gets whatever across the world or something. Middle-aged shopper, the daily life of a middle-aged online shopper, and he's 40 as well too. But he actually ends up having he has realisticness the way he was depicted in that show, because even there's a younger girl who is in love, and she throws herself, and he's like, are you sure? Like, he's like, there's just a big age gap. He's like, don't get me wrong. He's like, I'm more than happy to cater to you, just to understand, like, hey, like, there's like, I could be your dad. And the girl's like, no, whatever. And he's like, yeah, okay, cool. As long as we're on the same page, you know what I mean? Like, and that character's just, he's depicted very realistic. So when you have these characters are depicted like, who are you? You know what I mean? What non-human being are you? It just gets really irritating. Anyways, I've talked about this too long. I'll see you guys next week for episode number 7. This is still one of the funnest shows of the season. There's just some things that just bug me to no end, which takes the show from like what it could be, which is like a 7.5 out of 10. It takes it down to like a 6 out of 10 for me. An enjoyable 6, right? It's just, it's okay. It's a good watch, but it could be a great watch. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week.